alone as an international graduate student? Moving to a new country can feel very isolating, not only because you are far from home, but because it can be kind of hard to find the right people to support you. Here's the thing I've learned: intentional community building can transform your experience. My name is Deborah Saki, and I am an international PhD researcher living in the United States. At the beginning of my journey, I struggled with anxiety, depression, and a disconnect from my work, and I soon learned how intentional community building transformed that part of my life. In this video, I will be sharing my thoughts on intentional community building and the people necessary for you to do that. So whether you're just starting out on your journey or you are already in it but feeling disconnected, these ideas could help you out. First group of people I'm going to talk about are mentors. Now, mentors are people who have been where you are and can offer advice to help you get to where you want to be. Mentors provide clarity, guidance, and perspective. Now, most academic institutions already provide academic mentors for students, so I'm not going to dwell on academic mentors. For the international graduate student, mentors serve a broader purpose. So you've just moved to a new place and you have to build a new life. There are questions you need to ask yourself about the kind of life that you'd like to build. Not forgetting you have to successfully finish your program, get out of school, and get a job. What kind of life do you want to build? How do you want to navigate this process? And who are the people that can offer the advice, guidance, and support that you need to do all of these things? But there's something more. In my previous video, I talked about how I struggled with anxiety, depression, loneliness. I just felt like I had lost myself and I didn't know who I was anymore. Now, mentors were very crucial in helping me find who I was again. One thing about having a good mentor is that they show you yourself. They show you your abilities and your strengths. They see you from another angle that you do not see yourself from. So I had people in my life who would tell me things like, "Oh, but you're so good at this. Oh, but you're so good at that." And these were things I never thought about or even considered myself to be any good at. But by hearing them talk about those things, they began to sow seeds in my mind. And I started to look at myself, from a different light. So before I moved, my old self was happy, full of ideas, bursting with projects, initiatives, just doing things all over the place. And then I moved and everything was different. I was struggling in school. I didn't think I was the same person anymore. I had just forgotten that version of Deborah who used to be. But then I had these people who were able to remind me or bring me back to who I was. Now, I'm not saying that the entire journey of discovering yourself is going to be done by mentors or can be done by mentors. But I like to stress on the fact that you need to have the people in your life who have clarity and can see you and your strengths. And beyond that, by seeing your strengths and abilities, they can help to shape the path, giving you advice and perspective on where to go and what to do. So mentors are not just limited to your academic life. I talked about this before. It could be what sort of social life you like to build in the new country you are in. What kind of job would you like to have after you get out of school? These are all important questions that you need answers to and that you need to find people in your life who can offer support, clarity, and guidance as you go along your path. The second group of people I'm going to be talking about are your peers. Your peers are just as important as mentors. And this is something I want to stress because there are certain people who feel that it's more important to network up, but forget about networking at your level and sometimes even below you. There's a lot of untapped energy, ideas, and support you can get at your own level. In my program, in my cohort, we were 6. Each person was coming from a different background with a different skill set, a different understanding of how the academic community worked, different strengths, abilities. And we were able to help each other with, somebody hosting a methods workshop, somebody giving more understanding to the rest of us on, the subject matter of the content, and somebody being more familiar with submitting to journals or going for conferences or all the various moving parts of being in a graduate program. In my case, as I mentioned before, I was going through a lot of issues with adjustments, with being alone, with moving, and it hit me harder than I thought it was going to hit me. I happened to have a good friend in my program, an American colleague who was having the quintessential PhD experience. This young man was confident, he was sure where he was going, he was bold, he was familiar with the professors, he was writing papers, going for conferences. He was just living the ideal PhD life that you wanted to live. And then there was me, on the other hand, just so sad, just not knowing what to do, just being unsure, and just struggling, as I keep saying. But we formed an unlikely friendship, and he was always coming up with these ideas. Oh, let's write this paper. Let's do this. Let's talk to this guy. I know this professor. And it just kind of rubbed off on me. So I wasn't yet out of my struggle, but just having that person there who was just bringing ideas and telling me this, telling me that, teaching me this, teaching me that, helped to get me out of the hole that I found myself in at the time. Your peers really keep you going. You keep each other going. You help each other in ways that you don't expect. And I'm stressing on this because there are certain cohorts, certain places, certain programs where it's very competitive, it's very cutthroat, so there's no sense of solidarity. And I don't find that to be helpful at all. So in considering building your community intentionally, you also need to take steps to deliberately seek out friendships within your cohorts, find your peers, offer value to them, and receive value from them also. The third group of people I want to talk about in intentional community building is the non-academic community. When you move for graduate school, you're moving with a goal in mind, that is to pursue your higher education. And there's a tendency to get a little bit tunnel vision because for the most part, your legal status is dependent on you being in good standing and being enrolled in school and hitting the milestones and making the progress as you should be making. So it's easy to forget about the real world and that you are a real person with a life. But the non-academic community is essential for reminding you about that aspect of life. And having friends, a community from other inclinations, other professions is also important for having fresh perspective and a balanced outlook on life. There are so many ideas of how a person in a specific particular field borrows ideas from another field and comes up with something groundbreaking. You could talk about the engineer who was an inventor of Velcro, who was inspired by biology, or about Charles Darwin, who borrowed his theories on natural selection from an economics principle. Examples abound of how you could be in one field and then you're interacting with concepts from another field, and boom, you get an idea. Something groundbreaking comes out of it. Even beyond academic work, having friends in a non-academic setting can open up your mind to the possibilities of careers you can build if you decide that you want to switch, you want to do something that is not academic related, and they can help you do that. Sometimes you also just want to sit back, rest, relax, have a good time. And who better than people that are not thinking about school all the time? Another reason why the non-academic community is very important for the international graduate students is that you need help assimilating into your new community. You need help feeling like you belong. This is a society in which I live. I go out, I go shopping, I do this, I go on vacation, I take a trip. So finding people who are already established residents, thriving in the new place you are in, living their daily lives, having families, going to work, doing X, Y, Z, helps you in settling better. Some of my best friends since moving have been friends who are not in the academic world at all. You know, they are in tech, they are in customer service, they are in communications, living their lives, and they show me new aspects of life, new aspects of the community I'm in. They help me have a full, balanced life, sometimes helping me even forget that void that you feel when you move somewhere else, away from your culture, your community, and they help you in forging that new path. So in building your community, look out for your mentors, your peers, and members of the non-academic community. How has community building been for you as an international graduate student? Or are there any roles I haven't talked about in this video or I forgot to mention? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to PhD 360 so we talk more about navigating the international graduate student journey.